Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I guess everyone is back. Uh, else no longer access. Okay. Let check. So whatever we saw today, generators map filter reduce. So before getting to try except finally, I just wanted to go for membership operator. So I guess it is already explained, but still I just wanted to confirm that because I'm not sure. Yes, get that. Oh, okay, just give me a minute. Okay, okay, let's start. Okay, we'll start with membership operators. So we have covered. I believe I missed, but again I'm just covering it. If suppose I already covered, it's okay. It will be like revision for you guys. Okay. Membership operator. Okay. So which may not be relevant to this, but still, what we can say is whenever you have a list of elements. Okay. So I showed you one function where you are using this while loop. So we want using for or while. What we tried is we tried to find an element present in that list or not. So we used that flag logic and then we replaced with else logic there, for else logic. So the same operation can be done using a simple operators. So here they have an operator called in Python. It supports in and not in. Okay, these are the two ways we can use this membership operator. So as the name itself suggests, whether this particular we have a member, whether this particular person or this particular item or data is part of that particular list or not. Okay, instead of traversing the complete list, we can ask using this operator. Internally what it does is it has to do the traversal to search for that element is found or not, then it will return. But this function is already available built in. Okay, we don't need to write. That's the main point here. Okay, suppose I'm just defining a list with respect to range. As you know, I'm just going to start from, for example, I'm starting from 1 and ending to 100. I'm just going to have a step index of 3. Okay. So which means 1. Okay, let's see what are the values we are getting. So we have all the values 1, 4, 7. So these are the values we have in this list. And if suppose I wanted to ask an element is found in this, I wanted to search an element. For example, I wanted to search for 9. 9 is available in this list or not. Okay, available in this list or not, I need to check. This is my need. Okay, so for this what you do generally, you'll write a for loop for each val in the given list. We are going to check if the value, okay, for example I'm just giving this search as an search key. Okay, search key. Okay, search key is 9. I'm going to search. If the element, the current value is equal to search key, then we are saying print found element mm, found. Okay, then we are breaking the loop. Okay, if the element is not found complete after the traversal, then we are going to use not found. So instead of having that flag logic, I'm just replacing everything with a simple else. Okay, element not found. If okay, now I'm going to search this. So what it is printing, element not found. 9, value 9 is not found. So we don't this we are able to see. Okay, now we saw some value. For example, if I see, okay, I will just print so that we can easily compare. Okay, so now we know the element is not found because 9 is not present. So I know 13 is present here. So to check the condition 13 is present or not, what we do, we just replace the search key with 13 and run. So element found. Okay, that is one thing. Okay. So this is how we used to write for searching an element in the list or not. This is our custom function. Instead of writing all these things, Python provides our internal operator. Okay. What we can do, we can replace every line of this with a simple statement. Okay. So I'm just going to have this search key. Then what I'm going to do, if a, sorry, search key in a print element found, else print element not found. Okay, let's check this is working or not. Element found, it's saying whenever you give 13. Okay, okay. In place of this, I'm just suppose checking for this 9. 9 is not there. Element not found. So the whatever logic we have written using this for loop, we were able to do with a simple operator called as in. Okay. So what it does is the same operation which is already implemented. So Python has a rich set of functions. That's what I was insisting. From the beginning, we are talking about Python. Why we are going for Python? Python is the programmer friendly language. Why? Because whatever the basic foundational functions which is needed to write a program, which is already written and optimized in a perfect way. Okay, so if you, even if you write something is not an optimized way, so the way they implemented this in function is highly optimized. So we don't, even we are not sure the function whatever we write is not optimized, but the standard library functions are such that they write in a highly optimized manner. So that's why I'm saying in operator, whatever they use internally, it will be highly optimized. So we can boldly go with their implementation. So whenever these are kind of an entry questions they may ask, but whenever in the reality, if you need to do that, we can go with this in operator. Okay. But there is a catch. Okay. Whenever you use a generator, this in may not be used. So in will be applicable over the iterators. Okay. Yeah, I believe it is applicable over iterators. Suppose I'm just checking. Okay, I never tried this. I assumed it is not applicable for it generators. It might be also. I might be wrong. Let me check that. Okay, maybe it is applicable. Not sure. Let's see. It is applicable. So what it happens is internally this in operator reads this generator each element in that, and then it is doing. So it is irrespective of generator or iterator, whatever the element it is pointing to. I mean, whatever the type of data we are referring to, it is iterable or generator. So both it is working. So in can be used for both places. I'll just correct myself. Okay. So this in operator is helpful in identifying the element in a given list or else a generator, whether this element is possible in the generator or not. We can find it. Okay. That's the whole idea behind. Yeah. So now we don't need to implement this function. Suppose what if the same logic here, not in is nothing but it's the opposite of it. I know the value. Okay, just a minute. I'll run this again. I will see what are the elements in this. Yeah, I know value 34 is present here. Okay. I wanted to confirm. Sometimes there will be a case you will be entering some issues. For example, I'm just giving an example. There is a possibility like uh, we have some database where you are receiving the customer complaints queries and putting inside. Okay, some queries can be repetitive. For example, one person says my signal is very weak today, why it is. The same kind of queries can come again and again. Okay, so instead of having the duplicates, we use this not in operator to avoid the duplicates. If it is already available, then we can ignore. So that is what we are going to do here. Whenever you try to access a value, search for, I mean, here we are searching. This search option is going to be used before insertion to validate the already the value is present or not. In that case, this not in function will come in handy. So this search key, or else I'm just replace this search key as an insert key. This is the value you are trying to insert. If the value, this is just a meaningful name we are giving. It's nothing to do with any syntax. Okay. Insert key. Okay. If the insert key is not in A, then this element can be inserted. Otherwise, already found. Already found. Okay. In this case, 9 is not available. We can insert. In place of 9, I'm replacing with, okay. In place of 9, I'm replacing with 13, which you can clearly see it is available. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm execute this statement. It says element already found. So these are the places where we can use in and not in operator. So in will confirm you whether the element is found in the given iterable or generator. If it is possible in the generator, or else it's found in the iterable, it will return false, true. Not in is just opposite of it. If the element is not in that list or not, it will confirm that. Okay. So there is one more thing. Whenever you find an element, so from the implementation perspective, if you see, I wanted you to write a logic here. So what you're saying, if the search key is found, we are just returning. Okay. Using the same logic also, we can write this, implement this. What we can do instead of this, okay, let it be there. Insert key I'm going to use. How we can implement the same logic here? Using insert key. If the insert key is found means element already found I want. Otherwise, we are going to search through the complete list. Element can be inserted. The same logic we can do it here. Right? Is it right? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's check. This is type. I'll just make this as a type 2. Okay. Or else I'll just make using for or else logic. Okay. Just to differentiate the print statements. That's what I'm trying to do. Because if you use the same print statements from where you are getting, we will get confused. That's why I'm using this. Okay. Okay. Already found, already found. If you're changing this value to 9, which is not found, we know that element can be inserted, element can be inserted. Okay. This is how we can experiment our logics, whatever logics we are thinking of, we can practice that. Okay. So here, not in operator and in operator, how it works, it is very clear, right? Yeah. There is some other operator called is. Okay. So is operator will be used for to check the type of both the data is same. I guess it refers the object level it is same or not.
Memory.
Memory level, yeah. So before get to that memory level, we need to explain what is the memory. Okay. First of all, if you define in Python, any value or anything you define, it is internally assigning a object. Okay. So in general, in most of the programming language, what happens is, let me take you through this. If possible, I will just take you. Okay. Let it load. Okay. So if suppose you are defining a value a is equal to 1, in in case of C or any other language, for example, if it is in C program, what it does is we if we define this type as integer type. Okay. So C program allocates a memory for A, allocates a memory for data type A. I mean memory for A, which is actually the int data type. Okay. Then that particular memory location memory location, this value 1 is stored. Okay. But in Python, how this behavior is totally different. What it will do, it will allocate memory for individual memory for 1. It will allocate the memory space for memory for 1. Okay, the value 1. Then that address is pointed to variable A. This is the behavior of Python. So this is one key difference between Python and C. Okay. Most of the languages doesn't follow this, I guess. Python has this unique way of handling this. Okay. This is Python, Pythonic way. Okay. So to understand that, we can do one small experiment. Okay. What we can do if A is equal to 1. Okay. And to check the memory of a value which is allocated, always we can refer this uh, using an operator, using a function called ID. Okay. ID is the one which returns the identification of the object, which is nothing but the address. Uses the object's memory address. Okay. So now if I check the address of A, which it is pointing to, and okay, then I'm just replacing the value with 2. Again, I'm just printing. Okay. Yep. Okay. As you can see, the address initially for the A's address is, it ends with 808. When it is reassigned to 2, it is moved to 840. Let's see if we assign that value again to A into 1, A is equal to 1, and what is the value it is getting assigned. Let's see, 840808. So here the catch is, it is not allocating memory for the variable type. It is allocating for the write-and type, whatever we are using. For each values, it is allocating a separate memory. That memory address references pointing to the variable which is been assigned. Okay, that is what internally happens. But in C, what happens is, it will not update. It will not allocate a new memory for 2. It will go and update the memory. That's what I wanted to show you. Okay. So how C program will allocate? I'll show you. Whenever you declare a variable int A is equal to 5, what it does is, C program, okay, A is equal to 5. This is Python. This is C based. Okay. In C, it will allocate a memory for A. A's memory location is allocated. Okay. Here, when you change the value, A is equal to 4. Okay, let's see. A is equal to 5. What it will do? It will change the value of A's memory with 5. Now, if I changing the value to A is equal to 4, now A's value will get, the same memory address will get changed to 4. In case of Python, I think this is Python, this is C. Okay, this is C program. Sorry for my handwriting. Yeah. So here, what it will do, A is equal to 5, then I'm just going to give A is equal to 2. For 5, there will be a memory. Okay. For 2, there will be a memory location. Whenever I define A is equal to 5, first 5 memory will get allocated and A will be pointing to this address. Once you reassign this to A is equal to 2, then it will break this link and it will, the memory will be allocated for 2 and will get assigned here. You understood the difference, right? Whenever you again refer the 5, this is not deleted from the memory. So it will get reallocated here. This is where the garbage collection which we talked about will come into picture. Sometimes it will, if it is garbage collected, it will allocate a new memory. If it is not garbage collected, it will use the same space again. Okay, that is one thing. So I guess this is clear now. I will, with this understanding, I'll just move on. Okay. So here the ID is something like in a text, we can write this in a hex code format. So for that, we can again going to use this lambda function. Okay. So for converting anything, we can do the typecasting. Okay. So what I'm going to do, whenever wanted to, I'm just going to define a lambda function for getting the memory. So lambda of whatever variable you are passing, what I wanted is I wanted the hex value of their ID of x. Okay, whatever value you're passing. Now, whenever I need this particular value, I can use mem, right? Mem, mem. Now, what happens is we all get the value in the hex. Okay, that's the thing. So 00F0 is the address of A. Then when you allocate A is equal to 1, A is equal to 2, then the address change to 0110. I'm just reading the last end. Okay. Then if you're reassigning to 1, the same value same address gets updated. This is not in the case of C program or most of the languages. Okay. The memory, see, when you are specifying a type of the variable, which means it is going to allocate a space for that particular variable. But in Python, dynamic typing is there. So which means it is going to know which is the type it is going to assign over the type runtime. So what happens is it is not going to reserve that space for anything. So what internally it does is it's just going to point to the memory where the already allocated memory is available. That is why it is called as dynamic typing. Okay. So now let's come back to the is operator. Okay. Um, there is one more option where we can do. I guess we can create a copy. Okay. How to ensure that makes a copy of it? This is part of. Just give me a minute. I get that point again.
Better use a list inside list of list.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. I just wanted to see there is a deep copy in Python. There is a built-in function itself is there. We can. I thought we can use
Cop-
that. Just
Copy
give me a
dot
minute.
copy, copy dot deep copy.
Yeah. Copy dot copy, right? Yeah. Do I need to import anything for that? No, right? Copy. Yeah,
Import
we have to
copy.
import. Yeah. So whenever you're defining this one again, right? I'm just making this reference again. Okay. So what I'm going to do, the same thing. I'm just going to use C is equal to 1. If you see the print memory of C, though the variable is different, okay, initially the C's memory will also be pointing to 00F0. But A's memory, A is pointing to 2 now. But just remove this second part now, okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to see the values. A's memory is also pointing to the same memory. C is also pointing to the same memory. Suppose you do deep copy, okay. In case, so there is an operator called and there is an option called there is a function called called copy. For that, what we need to do, just give me a minute. Let me import that library. Always when you do import, we'll do at the top. That's why I'm just ensuring to import at the top. Okay. Copy. Let's try this one. In a while, even I haven't used this. It's a shallow copy, but still okay. We have to do deep copy, right? Copy or deep copy, I guess. That's the right keyword. No? Yeah. So copy is just the same reference will get copied, but if we do deep copy, it will have a different. This. Oh my God. Oh, something wrong here. Um. Okay. Loki, did I miss anything here? I think for the primitive values, it doesn't work that way.
No, in Python, right, that object reusability is there. So if
So
the
it is,
object is available, it will not create a new object. It will try to use the same object every time.
but
So
we are
you,
trying, we are
now
trying to
you can
override it.
use
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
You use list.
Okay. So I thought if you do a deep copy, it should allocate a new memory. Ideally, that is the expectation. This
That
is
is
something wrong behavior, I feel. Yeah,
that
it's
is
it.
available for list and all. It will work.
Yeah, I do agree, but this behavior it should work for irrespective of whatever type it is, right? Deep copy something. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think this is
So
something an issue
see,
with this. Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
it is not an issue because here
Mm-hmm.
variable. See that object is there, right? Object one. You
Mm-hmm.
are not concerned about the memory. You want to use the object.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is there in any memory, it's of no use for you, right? It can be in any location. But if it is
Okay.
a list and all, when you change the list, right, there it will be useful. Deep copy or copy something.
Okay. So as you said, I will just define a list now.
Uh,
So for example, range of 10 only I'll use. So this will be the memory, and I'm just going to use the okay, for time being, I'll just copy that value to A. Okay. In this case, the memory of A and B should be same, right? Yeah. So I'll just print the value of uh, value of A. That also I'll print. Okay. Value of A and value of C. Okay. So as you see, A is if you're assigning a value of A to C, so which is both are referring to the same memory location. So now the problem here is when you are doing this kind of assignments with, between list level, there will be a problem. Suppose you are changing the value of an element in the C. Okay. Suppose for example, I'm just giving the value C of I'm an index position. Maybe I'm zero only. I'm changing. I'm just setting to 99. Okay. Now after this, I'm just going to print the statements of A and B. Let me try to print A only first. C also will get updated, but let's try this. Okay. So I modified C's zeroth index position, but still it modified the A's list. The problem is we both are pointing to A and C, both are pointing to the same memory location. This is something you should understand because when you are writing a code where you are passing some values and reading somewhere and you are trying to update here and it is reflecting the part which is not even used. So you will not know what is the reason for that change. So this is the reason. When you are passing some between the list objects, whenever the reference is being passed, if this particular value is getting changed, that also will get updated. Especially when it comes to list, the collection objects and all, it will be we have to be very careful whenever you wanted to do a change on the copy or in place. When you wanted to do in place, this copy changes also will get reflected there. But you wanted to do on the copy and not on the original, then this particular approach is very dangerous. Okay, that is why we wanted to check deep copy is there or not. Okay, we will go with the deep copy. Deep copy should change this behavior, I believe. Okay, so here as you see, with the deep copy, A's memory is different, C's memory is different. So whatever changes you do in C will not impact A. That is the idea. I guess you got the idea. Now we'll go back to the is operator. Okay. I'm not doing the deep copy. I'm just going to use this one. So how do you know the referred object is not the same or different? To compare that memory level, what we can do, we can try this. Okay. If C is A, I guess. Huh? Okay, let's assume this value is not updated. Okay, let me checking. C is A. It is true, which means C and A is pointing to the same. If I replace this particular with deep copy, C and A is totally different, right? That's why you're getting false. I think it's better you write it in a separate cell. You will get understand. You will get a better understanding. So now mem of C is creates C0 and A is different. Okay. But if we print the value of C 0 to 9 and A is also 0 to 9. If we check the condition A is equal to C, here what it happens, it's giving true. So this one is checking for values, comparing equality with respect to values inside, with respect to values. If suppose you give, okay, using is operator, what we are trying to check is we are trying to compare the memory. Okay, compares compares the memory address only. It doesn't care about what is the value. If the memory is same, it means that both are pointing to the same. Okay. In this case, sorry, it's not B, it's supposed to be C. My mistake. Yeah, it is false since we are using deep copy. If I replace this deep copy with A, we will be facing, we'll be getting true for both. Right. Yeah. So now it is clear how when to use is operator. I hope it is clear. Okay, Mahesh, Inba, and Kati, Edwin. I guess it is clear. So if you say yes, I will move on to the next topic, which I wanted to go for error handling. We'll cover that error handling. Okay, is that fine, guys? Okay, I consider it as yes, and even if you are not able to understand, you can revisit this video once I shared over this our channel, so you can watch how many times you want to understand this concept. So this is kind of very important concept, which most of the experienced program also will make a mistake. Because if it is passed as a this is being passed and we'll do some operations there and we will be having a side effect on the original, so we have to be very careful when dealing with these kind of things. So that's where this copy and deep copy is explained. Okay, just take care of that, and with this I'll move on to error handling. Okay, error handling part. Okay. So Python. Okay, so what do you mean by error in general? So there are kind of programmer errors. So some errors which is like which cannot be captured by the system. Okay, which cannot be captured by the language. Few errors can be captured by the language. If you make any logical error, this logic error cannot be validated by using programming language. That is totally whom you are working. I mean, what is the logic you are working? Only you know. The programming language, whatever you ask it to do, it will do. You are expecting a value a plus b, and you coded in a way a minus b. Program will return a minus b only. Even you expect a plus b, it doesn't matter to them. What is the logic you implemented? That is the thing it is going to give you. But there are cases where the errors can be handled by language itself. That is why error handling comes. Okay. For example, I'm just saying, I'm just going to create an empty dictionary. For example, the past example we have, the same thing we'll use. One, likewise, two, similarly, three. Okay. So this is the dictionary. Dictionary having the numbers as key and the respective text in the string in, I mean, respective uh, text in string format. Okay. So now if I wanted to dereference this value, what you do, if I wanted to know what is the value text for 1, if I use d of 1, what it will do, this is nothing but the key value will give. You know, dictionary is a key value reference. I don't need to repeat that again. It's a key value pair. So whatever key you give, the value, respective value will get. So 1 you got. Similarly, if you do for d of 2, d of 3, we'll get 1, 2, 3. What if I give a key which is not existing? It gives key error. Okay. These are the kinds of error which the language will provide you, which will find it automatically and it will return you because this value is not present. It knows the language knows it is not available in this uh, given dictionary. It will throw an error. So it's up to the programmer's responsibility to handle this error. Either you can ignore this error or you can uh, take a respective action for that error. Okay, that is what we are going to see in the error handling. So this is one such an error. There are multiple errors. For example, in case of this 5 by 0. Okay, I'm just going to assign a value called 5 by 0 to a. So here you can clearly say we are dividing by 0, it will return to an infinity. Okay, in that case, what we are getting? Zero division error. So likewise, there are multiple error. So if you define a list, for example, I'm a famous example will take that range of 10. I know the index ranges of A is 0 to 9. Okay, but if we access 9, we'll get a value 9. Okay, A of 9, it will give value 9. If I try to access a value 10, A of 10, what happens here? It turns a index error. Okay, you noticed. So this is division by error 0 when you give. This is this gives key error. So it has language has various segregated errors with respect to each behavior. When dictionary is accessed with an unknown key, it returns key error. When a value arithmetic operation is giving dividing by 0 is happening, it gives you divide by 0 error. When you are trying to access a list with an out of index value, it gives index error. Similarly, value error, there are multiple other errors. Okay. So it's programmer's responsibility to ignore or consider this error. Either you can ignore or rectify or leave it as it is. When you leave as it is, the program will not run. It will say this kind of error, exception, it will be thrown. Okay. So what is an exception? What is try? And that's what I just tried to do. So what we are going to do here is we are going to have try and except. That is the logic we are going to use. So this is called as error handling. So we call it as exception handling also we say. Okay. Exception handling. So whenever there is an error, how we wanted to handle it. To do that, there is a syntax. I'm just going to enclose this particular statement of accessing D element inside this one, try. Okay. Suppose I'm just wanted to access 4. Okay. String 4. Okay. I wanted to access the value. Okay. In this case, what I'm going to do, if any exception happens here, instead of throwing to the console to the user, it will throw internally. Instead of throwing outside, it will throw internally. We are trying to catch this error and handle it. Suppose I don't want to do an error like this. I don't want it to show any error. I just says this key is not found. For example, there are cases where we will be having a genuine reason that value is not present. Suppose you have a login. Okay, that user ID is not present. Okay, then you say user ID is not present. It's not an error. Some unknown user is try to log in. User ID is not present. We'll take the same logic. Okay, for example, user ID. This is the user ID. I'm trying. For example, this is the one is the user ID. For example, the name of the user is, say for example, Kumar, Rakesh, something like this. Sundar. Okay, these are the names we have. So with respect to user ID, I'm just going to access it. If I give 1, so to get the username, I'm just going to give the user ID key. Okay, here the user ID is I'm just mention as view ID is equal to 1. In this case, what happens? I'll give a meaningful name, okay? ID to ID name, dict of ID name, okay? This is the name I'm just giving. I'm just going to check this ID name mapping, okay? So when you're trying to give this, the username is found and that's going to print the username. Okay, something wrong here. Okay. So I explained this logic again. So we created a dictionary. We have user ID 123 and we are giving the usernames, respective usernames, and we are trying to access by giving the username. So instead of this, I'm just going to make this as an input from the user. Okay. What you do, you just take the input and this is an again an integer type. I need to convert an int typecast and enter your user ID. That is what I'm just checking. Enter your user ID. Okay. I'm asking the user to enter. Okay. Now I'm going to run this. So now it is asking enter your user ID. I'll give 1. It says Kumar. If I give 3, which is Sundar. Why it is not happening? Because I'm not passing the value here. UID. I'm supposed to pass this way. Okay. 1 is Kumar. 2 is Rakesh. 3 is Sundar. Now if I give 4, this user ID is not present. What happens? Oops. It says user ID is not present. So this is perfect behavior. In case without this, what happens is if we don't have this try except logic, what we will do, it will throw an error. The program will stop. This is not an unexpected behavior. Anyone can allow to log in. If it is a valid user, we are going to give a valid. Otherwise, we are not going to. We say the user is not present. Okay. Okay. Here we get an exception error. So instead of throwing this kind of warnings to the user and creating a panic for the user, we can handle this exception. Okay. That is what we are trying to do here. Okay. Yeah. So now it is very clear that if the user ID is not present, it will say user ID is not present. It's an invalid user ID. Something whatever you want, you can handle it. So this try exception provides, even though the language treats this as an invalid value scenario, logically at use case level it is valid, but we need to handle it. Okay. So how we are handling, instead of throwing error, we are just printing this message. Okay. That is one thing. Okay. There is one more concept called else. Okay. Here, if the user ID is valid, then we wanted to ask the user to enter the password. Okay. Okay. In this case, try except else. We are adding else statement as well. Similar to this for else while else, this particular logic is only available in Python. I don't know. It might be available in Java. I'm not sure. I haven't used Java recently. But as far as I know, C++ doesn't have this logic. Okay. So this particular else logic, what happens is, let's try this. Okay. The same way. I'm just giving an unknown value. User ID is not present. It exited. Suppose I'm giving a value which is already known. 3. Okay. It is asking me to enter the password. Okay. It moves to the next stage. So you have to, whenever you're writing your logic should be in this way. When this is successful, what is the step we need to go? If it is not successful, where we need to go? This is what. So this structure says that. Okay. So what I can do, I can write entire thing inside a while. Okay. While true. True means it's always true. In place of user ID is not present, it can go to continue, which means it goes to the start. It will ask the user ID again. Otherwise, it will ask you to enter the password. So for example, it is asking the password. Okay. Then we can have a logic where we can check the password is valid or not. I'm just checking the password is always something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If the input password, I'm just getting the and user password, whatever user has entered, I'm checking password is equal to the pass, then print login successful, else unsuccessful login attempt. Okay, something like this. Oh, this is a reserved keyword. I don't cannot use this. So what I can say is password. Okay, I'm just using this password. Okay, this is the expected password. For every user, I'm just giving a common password. I just showed a sample logic. Okay. So now the logic is we have defined a dictionary having usernames and we have given password for everyone common password and we have written a while true. So while you are entering this user ID, if it is entering a invalid user ID, it will go back to the same. It will ask you to re-enter your user ID with a valid name. Okay. How you can come out of this? You can press Control C or something to enter it out of it. Or else if the user ID, one more logic also we can add. If the user ID is -1 or something, UID is okay. For example, if I'm giving UID is equal to 0, I wanted the breaking logic. Okay, break this logic, break this loop. I guess I built up so many codes here. Based on the assumption you have learned all this while break continue logic. So I just wanted to use all the things whatever I taught you in the past se- sessions. Okay, I guess you should be able to follow this. And here the else is the priority thing. When else will get executed? Only if there is no exception thrown, then else will be executed. So it's similar to the for. Okay. Uh, okay. There is one more thing that I will after this code I will explain. Okay. Now we have executed this. It is asking for a password. So what are the valid user IDs? It is asking for user ID. One is a valid user ID. It is asking for the password. Now I'm just giving 1, 2, 3, 4, which is actually, if you see, login successful. It is accepted. Now I'm trying for the user ID 2. Rakesh. What is the password? 1, 2, 3. I'm just entering not 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just entering 1, 2, 3 alone. It says unsuccessful login attempt. Now I'm trying for 3. Okay. Both these cases covered. It never entered into this exception. Now I'm just trying with enter 3. Again, I just wanted to check. Sundar. I'm going with the right password. It is giving login successful. Got it. Now I'm going to give a invalid user ID 4. In this case, user ID is not present. It gave that error and it come back to the same prompt, enter your user ID, as you can see here. So it is asking you to enter the proper user ID. Now if I give proper user ID, you will get that username Rakesh 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I made a wrong, I guess something wrong. What I did, it's not the password screen, I guess. Yeah, let me confirm again. So now we are in the user ID screen, just giving 2. Now it should ask for the password, right? Now the password it is asking, I'm just giving 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, there is a problem. Okay, right. Yeah. So now it has given login successful. Oh, last time also it was successful. I didn't see this print. Okay. So login successful we have got. Now we wanted to give an exception 4, which is not existing user ID. Right. In that case, it should say user ID not present. Okay. Why it is not coming? Just checking. Just give me a minute. Say user ID. Yeah. There is a delay in this print. That's why it's not immediately reflecting here. This is something on the UI issue. Okay. Because this particular thing is not meant for interacting with the user. This is how the Jupyter notebook cells and all work. Okay. That is something on the ID side. Don't worry. So user ID is not present. So it is expected. So when you wanted to exit, what is the exit condition we give? 0 if you give, it should break. Okay. Now it come out of the logic. No more it is asking enter your user ID. So again, I will explain this logic. What we are trying to do, we are trying to do an exception handling whenever the user ID is not present. Instead of throwing key error, we are giving user ID is not present and again looping through the logic. Okay. If the suppose the user ID is present, then you are going continuing and asking password. The password is valid, we are giving login successful. If it is invalid, we are giving unsuccessful. Okay. So now it is very clear that what is try and what is exception is used for and what else is used for. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to have one more option called finally. Okay. Let's my keyword is correct. Finally. Okay. Print end of program. Okay. I'm not going to use while now. Let me stop for simplification reason. And it's an intent based language. We have to keep all the starting lines on the same pattern. Since I used while, I used given indentation, it should be like this. All you should be keeping on the same line. Okay. Now, this user ID logic break is not required because we are not using a while loop. And continue is also not required. We are dropping that. Okay. That's it. Now we'll run this. Let's see what happens. If I enter one, it is a valid user. As you know, you can see Kumar. It is asking for the password. 1234. Login successful. Then it reached finally end of program. Okay. Now we write execute this with value 3. Sundar. Password I'm just giving wrong. Unsuccessful login out of end of program. What you observed in either if it enters else, it's always entering into the finally, irrespective of whatever it is. Okay. Now I'm going to check with value by passing invalid value. 4. User ID is not present, but still finally is executed. So this particular area finally is something we have some kind of cleaning rituals. Whenever you define something which is not cleaned, which will lead to some kind of memory dump, which is leading to some kind of crash of program, we need to ensure that memory is freed or some cleanup activities we need to do. All those things, irrespective of exception happens or it is successfully going through the logic, we need to do that rituals. We need to do that those cleaning process to ensure that you add those logics inside finally. Okay, I'm just saying cleaning process initiated. Okay, cleaning process initiated. I'm just giving a message here. I'm not doing any memory cleaning here because it is doesn't have any memory. Then once it is done, we can have this print. I can say a message saying cleaned. Okay, clean and gracefully exited. Gracefully exited. Okay, I'm using one invalid value. So it says it cleans the we are saying cleaning process initiated and we say cleaned and graceful exit. Graceful exit is always important because whatever memory we have allocated or something we have done, which needs to be handled irrespective of exception or this one, that goes under finally. Okay. So this is the total concept of try, except, else, finally. When you use except, where the exception is there, and you want to ignore or handle that exception, we will add the except keyword, except block. And else block when we will use, whenever this particular exception is not got, we need the successful scenario. What is the flow it should be? There we will have the else block. And finally will be called for irrespective of exception, irrespective of else. It will always enter into finally. This is for the cleaning activities. This is the clean structure of a program. So this process you follow in your program. In case of any unknown issues in the runtime you are getting into, it will be handled in a very nice way. Okay. So you will come to know. So you suppose you are not catching the exception, the program will halt. The program will stop. Okay. It will throw a big warning to the user. Every programmer, every application user may not be the programmer. He doesn't understand what is happening. So giving an useful message, what he is relevant to, that will helpful to understand. Okay, this user ID is not present. I'm not going to enter this user ID. Instead, I'm just giving key error for the application user. He doesn't know anything about what is this key. Okay, we should not fill with jargons for the end user. So to handle such cases, we are doing this try catch exception. I mean try except else finally. This is one structure they follow to handle this exception. Okay. So till now it is clear, guys. You guys are able to follow. If you guys missed anything here, this is very important topic, and I wanted you guys to be very clear on this. I mean, I'm keep saying from yesterday. I'm saying it's very important topic, very important topic. It's not that I'm just trying to create any this one panic. All the topics, whatever I discussed from yesterday to today, before that, whatever we discussed is basics. So this week, whatever we discussed are core programming, and we use very often in the production environment. You should have a clear understanding when to use and when not to use. Okay. Even lots of programmers in the real-time industries, they don't use these logics perfectly. Okay. So if you understand this as a beginning programmer in this field, it will be really helpful for your career growth, and clean programming, everything will get. Okay. This is how we should go. So with this, I guess we came to the end of this try catch, try except session. And at last, I just wanted you to show one more option, which is called as for what we call that as file handling. Okay. Now we got the error handling. File handling also can be done. Okay. Shall I consider this as an yes from all of you guys? I will move to the next topic. If you have any queries, um, please ping me in the chat. I will reply, try to answer this. I hope this is clear. With that assumption, I'm moving to the next. Shall I? I want at least one or two responses. Okay. For confirming. I hope Inba also able to understand this. Edwin, Karthi, everyone. So with this, I will move on to the next topic of uh, file handling. Okay. What is file handling? Okay. It's mainly file IO we say. Okay. File IO. So file IO is nothing but whenever you wanted to use a file, create a file on the system where you are using, or else whenever you wanted to access a file, there are ways to do that. Okay. So it supports various modes. Okay. When you are reading a file, what are the modes it supports is one is like a write, read. These are the basic things. A write operation we can do, and a read operation we can do. Along with that, they have an option of WB they say, which is kind of write in binary format, read in binary format. Okay. This is something related to the binary format. Okay. The format in which we're trying to read. And they have option like X. Okay, we'll read these modes. I guess you should be able to follow this when you go through the modes, whatever it is available. I'll just show you guys, okay? And okay, let me directly show an example, then we'll see. I guess I don't want to execute here. Let me create it in the this format. It's in the notes, okay? Let me have a folder open in notes, or else I will create a new folder file. Okay, I'll just create this inside this. Okay, I'll just create this folder. Save this. Okay, let's say trust.trust. Okay, now I'm inside a folder called file. I'm creating a file called. I'm just creating a text file. Okay, sample text. Oh, sorry. Creating a new file, text file. Okay, which is suppose I have names like Kumar, Rakesh, Sundar. Okay, these are the names I created, and I'm just giving this as a users.txt. Okay, it's saved as users.txt. And I'm going to access these files. I'm going to have a Python program, file IO. Okay, file IO. I created a program called file IO. With this, I'm going to access this. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open this file. Okay. I just wanted to open this file and read these values. Okay. What I can do, first I need to create an object for file descriptor. I'm just giving open. In Python, built-in standard library, they provide a function called open. It takes the argument, file name, and mode. Here the file name is users.txt, and I'm going to do this in a read mode. Okay, what are the modes we are having? Here you can see clearly. R is for only for reading. W is for open for writing and truncating the file. Okay, X is for create a new file and open it for writing. Similarly, we have for A, which is for appending to the end of file, and B for binary mode, and T for text mode, and open a disk file for updating. So there are various modes available. You can explore on your own time. I'm not getting into detail of all these things. I'll give you some sample thing which you're going to do. Then you can explore on your own. Okay. This is like self-explanatory. You can easily understand what is happening. Okay. Now what I did is I just created a file descriptor. I'm just going to read this. Okay. Read this file. Okay. We are going to go do it in the read mode. For example, I'm just going to do this in a separate thing. R and file to read. File to open. Okay. Something like this. I'm just going to give users.txt. So these are the parameters I need to give. File to open and mode I'm going to do it in read. I'm not going to edit this file. I'm going to read this file. Okay. So this particular FD will store all these values. Okay. Once we do, we can do read lines. Okay. I'm just giving this read lines. Let's try to print that read lines. What is the value at present? Okay. It's a simple operation. What I did is I have a file. I give this file as an option. I'm going to read that file and all the lines in that file I'm going to read and print that file line content in the program. Okay, let me save this and run this code. Okay, now as you see, the values, returned values are coming in a list format, and we got all the values, which is nothing but Rakesh Kumar, Rakesh Sundar, the same format it came, right? So instead of writing this way, what I can do, I can write it like this: for val in read lines. This is a list, right, which is an iterable. Okay. We can always make use of this. Okay. Now, if we run this, what's the problem? We are not reading this way. Okay. Okay. Now, why this is happening is the format, right? You have an end line, new line character. So as you can see, the previous results, there is one more new line. It tries to print itself. It adds a new line. Along with that, we are doing this slash n. This slash n and that slash n, two times it is printing. That is why we are getting this double space. Okay, just ignore that. Okay, now, okay, now we are able to read the values and access it. So why we wanted to do this way? Instead of read lines, I can read. There is another function which does the same, but you can do the line by line reading. Okay, now what we are doing for val in fd dot read line and print val. Okay, there are multiple functions available in this file IO. You can explore one by one. I'll not get time to explore everything. I'll just give you the basics what we are doing. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do, this particular read lines will execute at one shot. All the lines will get accessed and it will do. This read line will get you one line at a time, I guess. I think it should be. No. Okay.
A read line will read only one line,
One
one
line.
function. Mm.
Sorry. So now the assumption is, we'll see. Okay. Result of read lines and read line. We'll see. Okay. fd dot read lines and fd dot read line. What is the result? There is a catch here. Let's see. Print r lines and print r line, which is like single line. Yeah, then that control will not work. I have to create. Yep. Okay. Why this r line printed nothing?
Already you have consumed the file.
Exactly. Hmm. So this FD, right? The problem. One more thing I just wanted to say. Yeah, when you open the file, it will open. It's a kind of an iterator. Okay, it tries to go line by line. So once you read, come to the end, and you wanted to go back to the front, you have to change the seek pointer. I guess FT dot seek. Something should be there. You have to reset to the beginning of this, right? Just give me a second. Let me try this. If it works, then I can explain you clearly. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, this is similar to an iterator. Okay. Whenever you open a file, you have lots of contents in the file. So use read lines. Each lines will get loaded into a list, and then it completely consumed that file. Okay. Now the iterator is at the end of the file. It will come out. So no matter whatever you do after that, fd.readline or whatever you do, it doesn't have anything to read. It comes to the end of file. So to do that, to make the pointer to start to the top of the file, we are using a function called the seek. So this particular seek, what it will do, it will just reset the line number to the beginning of the file. That's what it happens. Whenever you do read lines, it's giving complete lines in the file, and read line will give only the first line. And when you are trying to call this particular read line using a for loop, this we never seen. I guess this is something like I can show you in the other thing. Okay, just give me a minute. We have a notepad. That the IP only is gone. And show it in the shell. I felt that's why I was thinking. Yeah. Okay, let me show you in this Jupyter notebook. You will be able to easily understand. Okay. So before getting to this file, I just wanted to show you what is happening here. Mm, okay, this is inside file IO, that also good. So for I in, suppose for example, Sundar, if you're giving, what Python does is internally, this particular string is itself is an iterable. It's like a list having SUNDAR. Okay. For every time when it is trying to access these values, what it will do, okay, the connection is not right. It is trying to access one character at a time. That is what it happens. That is why when you use the read line to access all the files, it is not coming. It's coming as a single line. The single line itself, the current line which is read as a string, and we are trying to print the loop through the particular string, and we got character wise. When you are using fd.readlines, it is able to access each and every line. Okay, these are the two things, and we can do using fd read also. For time being, I'll just go with this. Uh, just give me a minute. Not going to use any of this. Comment out. Okay. So this is the one we are just going to take. So I'll just remove these lines. Okay. So this is how we read a file. That's what I wanted to show. And you wanted to write a file also, we can do. Okay. Now I showed you how to read a file. Now I will open this file in a write mode. Okay. Now fd2. I'm just going to write a new descriptor. Open file to open in a read mode. Okay. I'm just going to give it in a read mode. Initially I gave it in a write mode. I need to open in a write mode. I'm just replacing this mode with a write. Let's see how this works. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, uh, okay, I will do fd dot t2 dot write. Okay, write. For example, I'm just giving new name fd. Okay, it's the new name I'm writing. And one more thing I forgot to tell: whenever you use the open to read a file, we need to ensure it has to do the close. We were talking about the try exception finally, right? That finally logic will be helpful to these kind of things. Okay. So I have no battery. Okay. fd do dot close. So this close operation is nothing but when you open, you have to close it. Otherwise, the stream will be available. What is the problem here? I used colon. It's not required. It's unnecessary. Yep. So now if you see the file, it has 80. It removed all Kumar, Rakesh and everything. Okay. So the problem here is whenever you do write operation, right? What happens? It will overwrite the existing file. It will not append. So to do an append mode, what we can do, we can do W plus. Okay. I think if the file exists, it will append at the last line. If the file doesn't exist, it will create a new file and it will start writing. That is the idea behind this mode. So now I'm just saying J, I'm adding this. Raj, something I added this. Let's see how this works. Okay. And I'm not going to do this read lines now. And file to open. And this mode is not required now. I'm going to use, okay, for example, I'm just going to use W plus. I guess better I can give this way. Okay. Read mode so that it will be very clear. Okay. Read, write mode. W. I can give this as an append mode. Okay, which is W plus. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to use append mode now. So already the file contains AD. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to add this J and Raj at the end. Let's see how this works. Okay. Oh, something wrong. Okay. This FD is not there, which is already closed, which I commented out. I'll make it FD2. Okay. Yep. So now we are not seeing any results here, but we can see the results in the file. Oh, what happened? Why it doesn't work?
A plus.
Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be A plus. So what is the difference between W plus and A plus?
It will write and append something is there. No, A is only append. Just
Yeah.
check with
Sorry,
it.
sir. Yeah. Just give me a minute. I will just check that. I guess
Hmm.
it's little okay. Open for writing, appending to the end of file. Yeah. A is actually for appending, and we have W plus. Okay, that is for opening a disk file for updating and writing. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. Forgive me. Okay, I will just do this A append mode. Okay, let's try this again. Now, what is the missing part is AD. I'll just make that AD, and I didn't enter new line. So whenever you wanted to enter a new line, you can add this at the end of this slash n. You can do that. It will add a new line. And now the user has J and Raj. When you do execute this file, like this one, sorry. So now this function is, I mean, this program is executed. It it added here because earlier it was not having a new line. That's why it is not. Raj doesn't have a new line. That's right. So now if you see, I'm just creating a new line. Okay. Now we can execute the same code by adding a new content. For example, Mahesh and we're entering. Let's do this. Execute it, and you see the value Mahesh. Okay. So basically, there are various modes. So one is like read mode, write mode, and append mode. When you're using read mode, it is allowed only to read. When you use read mode and to write, so you'll give it an error. Okay. Let's see that as well. Okay. So unsupported operation. IO unsupported operation not writable because the mode is not in the write mode. We are using read mode. Okay. Whenever you use append mode, it will append to the last, and write mode, it will even the file is present, it will erase. I mean, it is not erasing. It will start from the beginning of the file so that the old data will get lost. Okay. So be careful when you're using write or append whenever you need. Suppose you are logging something for a number of days. Whenever you open a log, same log file you are going to add for every day, and you instead of using A, you use W, right? All the old logs will be lost. Okay. So this file logging will be useful when you are running an application, long running application, to monitor the states which is not uh, which needs to be analyzed. So file logging is very important. Okay, so just console printing is not always helpful. We are generating around 1 lakh lines of console prints. So browsing through these console logs is very tough, and it will have a buffer limit, and beyond that we cannot read. So once it writes to a file, we can always go and refer the file for any error inspection or any analytics you wanted to do. On that we can do it. That is where this file read write will be helpful. And not only that, suppose sometimes we wanted to read a file. For example, if you take any VLC player or Windows Media Player, so we can write a program for that, accessing playing a media file. So what it does is it needs to take the file and open and read it. Okay. So in that case, we have to read the file from this system it is available, where it is running. So for that, this particular functions will come in handy. That is what file IO. Okay. So there are multiple options and modes available. I don't want to get in detail of that. In fact, I'm not used this at extensive area. I used at the basic level, but still there are lots of things which we can use. So whenever you are reading a binary file and text file is what we use now. User.txt is nothing but a normal text file. There are binary files. Suppose, for example, if you try to open a MP3 file in a normal notepad, you cannot open and read. So it contains lots of binary formats, only hex and this thing you can read. See, but in order to read and write that kind of file, you wanted to calculate some checksum or something you have to do on that. You have to go for binary reading. You have to go for that option. Okay. So here, this text file, I just used a normal RW. When you wanted to use for that binary mode, you need to use RB or WB. Likewise, the logic will change. Okay, that's it. So that's it about file IO. And how, as I said, there is any problem in reading of file, so we can always ensure that we can add it in a try else logic. Okay. So what we can do here, whenever you're opening a file, so just put a try, and inside the try you can have it all this logic. And as I said, when the file is open, always try to close it. So put this logic inside the finally. This is the cleanup ritual I was talking about. And whenever there is an exception says, so how you handle? And just says, you can directly, there is one more keyword I just forgot to mention. We can always raise the exception with custom message as well. So print file IO failed. We can say file IO failed. Okay. And you can print. And what is this error exactly? It happens. Okay. Okay. I guess I don't want to
You can
brand
capture
that.
it, right? Accept
Yeah.
exception as.
Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. Ex- I won't need to explain it. Okay. Exception. Okay. Exception as E. In this case, what is the exception it is captured? We'll get it. And that exception value you can print here. V dot. Yes, it can print with traceback. Right? I guess this is the one. If I try to write it using a read mode, what you will get, let's see. File IO exited. Okay. Exactly takes one argument. Okay, let me not use that traceback. I wanted to print the stack message. Let's try that. Why? What happened? Okay. Okay. So now you are getting an error message. File IO failed. Not writable is the error message we got. Okay. But when you are not handling this, you will get a different error. Okay. So exception is not handled. Then you will be end up in having this older error, whatever you saw in the earlier, right? IO unsupported operation. It will show you this things. Okay. Okay. So why this was not giving with traceback exactly takes exactly one argument. Zero given. Base exception. I need to pass E. No, right? E is being passed as a self, right? Okay. Let me check that. We'll come back to that. Okay. So whenever you're using file IO, it's better to use always this try exception to ensure nothing happens. If this is simple file, you don't find anything any importance of this. But if it is a big file and you are sharing this file across multiple programs, whenever you run a program, this program will be controlled by only your program. Okay. When you are accessing a file, this file can be accessed by any application, not only Python application. A Java programming may be running reading the same file. C program may be running reading the same file, which is a kind of a shared resource. So if you try to leave it open or something, it will lead to some memory leak and some other issues will come. So to avoid that problem, we always ensure to close it. Okay, that is one thing I just wanted to ensure. And here exception, as I said, try except else and all these things logic we said. And one more logic in except is like we can catch the exception. So right now, whatever we did is we when an exception is caught, but still we did not see what is that exception internally. So last time when you saw user ID is no, invalid, we printed, but we did not print the key error. But here it says not writable, which means here the file is not writable. Okay. With that, the similar way, the trace also can be printed gracefully without exiting. I don't know why that is not happening now. Let me. You have idea, Lokesh? What is the problem here with traceback? Let me check.
I'm not getting. E dot something. Try something else.
Just give me a minute. Let me check with traceback. I don't think. So what we do with traceback? Which I never personally I never used this traceback. I just wanted to try on the fly. Which it didn't give a proper expected result. That's why I'm just trying. Let's see how this can be used. And here also I can check. Just give me a minute. I'll check this. Exception traceback. Right? Okay, is it like you can print without having any this one? Let's check that. This itself not a function, huh?
I think
Yeah.
traceback dot print something.
Sorry.
I can see some examples with traceback dot print something I saw.
So exception we're saying traceback dot format
Traceback
exception.
dot format exactly.
Okay. So we have to use this way, is it?
I think so. Yes, try that.
Mm-hmm. So we are having this kind of raise exception. I wanted to come to raise exception, but we took a different direction. Let's see. Error dot traceback. Okay. This is also there. Let's try this once. Okay, it's printing this. So with traceback dot formatter. Okay, let's ignore this. I don't know why this is not giving proper result. I can add this. Okay, maybe we can give here some message. Okay. Like this. I'll try. I'm not sure. I'm just checking. Exactly. Right. So what is the error we are getting? So still that final closing we are getting, right? But closing is not happening, right? File IO exited. This happened, and we got the exception as well, right? Yeah. Guys, sorry, there is a confusion here. I just wanted to clarify again. So whenever you try to do this file read and write, and we are whatever it is, not only file read and write. Whenever you handle an exception, we can catch that exception in an exception object, which is nothing but E here. That exception object, without having this particular thing, we will be anyways getting the traceback. But once you handle it and you don't know what is handling, what is the exact error is happening in between in the back end. So to see that, we are using this traceback. Traceback is nothing but what are the functions being called and where the error is thrown. So that is what we are seeing here. Okay. So during handling of the above action, another exception occurred. Oh my god, this is actually not the way to handle it, man. Even you say it is while handling the exception, there is another exception handled because there also it says some error. Okay, for time being, let's ignore that. We'll just print the E and other argument. Just trying to get if any other argument is there. Okay, let's ignore that part. That talks. Okay, fine, leave it. We'll just print this. Let's see. Let's not waste time in this. Okay, sorry for the confusion. I think you will be able to get it. If not, I will. make a video on this and then I will upload separately for this. Okay. For time being, ignore this. Okay. Uh, so this is what. So whenever you write a file logic, you always try to add a exception logic in that so that you can ensure this finally will get closed. Okay. There is one more way we can do the same. So instead of manually closing this file, there is a context manager which we can try. That also you can take a look. Okay, I'll just give a brief how the context manager will look like. Okay, here only I will write, not an issue. Uh, okay. I'm just going to open a file called new file. Okay, open a file. And the mode is write mode. I'm just going to create a file dummy.txt. Okay, I'm just creating a file which is not existing. A new file I'm creating. So with open and SP as FP. Okay. So earlier what we did, we created a open this one and assign to a file descriptor, and that using that we are writing and reading, and then once it is done we are just doing the close. Okay, so to make a graceful exit. So whenever using this context manager, which is nothing but with is a keyword using which you can ensure the closure happens gracefully without the user has to mention it explicitly. Okay, whenever it goes out of the scope, the file will get closed automatically. So again, this will be happening in the behind the scene. I don't know how to visualize this. I don't find a way to put that. Okay, I think I mean, this is internally assumed that, I mean, what is the say is like, what I'm trying to mean here is whenever you do this, you don't need to worry about close. It will automatically close. Auto close will be doing. Okay, that's what the context manager does. And suppose I'm just reading this file. I'm writing this file with the content test one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm just coming out. Okay. So even though if it is not closed, once I come out of this scope, it will auto close. Once it comes to this line, auto closed by context manager. Okay. At this line, when this line, if you're seeing executed, which means that this file dummy.txt is auto closed by context manager. Okay. That is what happens. So dummy.txt is auto closed. So it creates a file now. As you can see, it created a file dummy.txt test1 test2 test3. Okay, this is the overall thing about file IO. File has lots of features, lots of things we can still explore a lot, and getting in detail will take another whole day itself, minimum. So we will try to cover all those topics as a separate video in our channel itself. So for this live session, I don't wanted to get in depth on that part, and even I have to refresh some of the areas which I still lagging a bit. So we'll get to that. Okay, we will add videos on that, and so that you can watch that. Okay. Right now, for the live session, we are stopping with this file IO. So today, what and all topics we have covered? Just wanted to go back to the topics. Okay. So we started with generators. We started. We uh, explained. Okay. We started with generators and how generator works and how you implement using a function using the keyword yield, and using membership function, membership operators, how we can check element is found in an iterable or a generator. And we saw how the map function works, how the filter function works, how the reduce function works, and we also see how this try except finally works. And finally, we know a little bit on the file IO. Okay. That's pretty much you need to start with Python. I think more than the basics. So whatever we covered in these 4 sessions is not only basics, it's more beyond the basics. And we have covered the production level, what these codes people will be using, the way of programming and everything we have covered. This I hope this session is definitely useful for you guys. With this, our session of this particular uh, masterclass come to an end. And going forward, we are planning to have every weekend, at least not this long span, minimum half an hour to 1 hour. We are planning to have a live session. In between, we'll try to post some videos in the channel. We'll keep watching, and you will be having, if you have any queries, will come live on Saturday Sundays. Whatever queries, whatever you have in mind, you can ask us. We will try to discuss. You can use the same meeting link, the same timing, 9 o'clock to 10. And we will be available. Either me or any one of us will be available. Raj or Loki or anyone will be available. I will be always available. I'll ensure that. If suppose if I'm not available, I will make sure of other one of us is available for clarifying your doubts. Please make use of this particular community thing where you wanted to clarify your doubts, because the thing is we are not asking any pay for this, but still we are ready to give away this kind of knowledge to you, just to be helpful for you guys. Okay. In fact, we wanted to start a proper training program as well, but that is not our I mean, before getting to that, we need people who are well versed in this particular area. And I will just stop this recording before continuing further. Yeah. So the idea being, what I try to do is like we are looking for making this company as a full-fledged development company. It's not like a training institute. Okay, that's the first thing we wanted to uh, insist. Okay, so we are not looking for just an institution kind where you can get training of Python and move on. Okay, we wanted you to be trained like a pro, where you can do work in the real-time production environment. So we have some products, plans and lineup we have. So we are planning to develop that product as well. So if the time permits, if you guys are ready to contribute for that, it is always welcome. And we are working on that bootstrapping of the initial levels. So once it is done, we can engage you with an internship opportunity where you can earn an internship certificate as well as you get a practical experience from the experienced people. Okay. And in this process, you only not learned, even I myself and Loki or everyone who are joined in this session, Raj or anyone. So every day is a learning for us. So I have an experience of around 16 years of experience. Till date, I'm learning. Okay. Every day when I'm encountering some new issues, I'm learning. Okay. That's the whole process of the programmer. Okay. So it's not like that you completed Python, you completed. Nothing like that. Okay. So you have to practice. When you start working on it, you will be learning lots and lots of new things. Okay. There is no ending to that. Okay, there will be new terminologies coming in, new technologies, new features they will bring in, and the new logics we will think of. There are lots of scope for learning. Okay, it is a never-ending process. Okay. So thanks for your time spending with us, and I hope everyone understands the purpose why we took this class. And irrespective of the crowd, I don't want to go with the crowd. I don't want to go with the numbers. How many people you are, I wanted to give my best, irrespective of the count. Even if one guy is interested for this session, I would have taken if no one is there available. So that's my agenda. And we wanted to develop this as a company, and parallelly we wanted to learn as well as we wanted you to make you learn. Okay. And if at all you're interested with an internship opportunities with our company, and this is purely, it's like a very beginning startup. We don't have any funding or anything. It's by volunteer basis. We can log in and you can work. We can provide you the certificate. We cannot pay you any much, any amount for that, until unless we get any project or anything we get commercialized. Once we get to that level, we'll definitely able to pay you guys and get in on board. Okay. And we wanted a cooperation, and kind of, if you are really enthusiastic, you wanted to engage with us to start a product development, this is the right time. And we are in the initial phase. Once we start, once suppose we have got a product clicked, and the things will change. Right now we have time, and you also have time, make we can make use of that in a potential way. Okay. Yeah. So now let's come to the sign off session. Before that, whoever wants certificate for this particular masterclass, we are highly, what to say, happy to provide that. If at all needed, I can really give it to you. Even irrespective of it is needed or not, if you need, just give me your mail ID and your full name and phone number. I will create a certificate of this particular master class, and then I can share you in the LinkedIn post also we can share, and else I will share it in the mail as well. Okay. Thanks for everyone who joined here, and I hope this session is very helpful for you guys. And this journey is not going to be an end here. We are going to continue here after every week. So this will become a practice for both. and we wanted to start with our own product lineup. So I will definitely consider you guys who are volunteer, like Mahesh and Inba is like, I've seen you guys are actively participating every session. I really encourage that. This kind of encouragement only we needed. Okay, I needed a single person. That's what I just need, a single person who is interested. I don't mind the group crowd or anything. Okay, so you guys seems to be very interested. I wanted to take you to the next level. So please be stay in touch. Irrespective of this end of the session, we'll be discussing lots of things. We'll post lots of new videos. That's it. Okay. I don't want to brag much. Let's end up with the session. If you guys have anything to say, you can tell in the chat, or else if you have anything, any queries related to the session which we had now, you can explain. You can ask me in the chat. Okay. And
Yeah,
I wanted to, yeah,
one more suggestion I want to give. So if you are really interested in learning Python, right, you have to buy a Python book, start reading it. That is one way, and practice, or else you will not learn.
yeah, true. So listening to Python videos, there are plenty of videos available in the open forum space everywhere. So whenever you need something, you can go and check in the YouTube, you'll get it easily. The thing is, live experience is totally different. When you get your hands on the working about Python programming, coding, you try to resolve on your own. So that is where you get the deeper knowledge. Okay. So making error is the best way. You first time you just make in a right way, you do the code, you will not learn the other side of it. Just try to write program which is can be a stupid way you write. It might be throwing some unnecessary errors, simple silly errors it will be throwing, but still it is a good learning for you. Okay. So don't underestimate anything. If you are not able to write it, you can write. Okay, it's just that you need to start. That is one thing. As Lokesh insists, there are lots of good books. If you wanted to reach to know that, I can only personally prefer some books. But basics is something like we should know for reading such books. That is one thing I will tell you. There are lots of materials, open materials. Irrespective of our YouTube videos, there are plenty of open available. This is kind of a live session which you might have you interacted with us. We know what is the agenda where we are going, so you will be able to easily connect. Okay, that is the way we can refer our sessions as well. Going forward, we are planning for short sessions. Okay, 10 minutes. I am just planning like Python 10s, like 10-minute sessions for each topic, and within 10 minutes we'll try to explain very niche topics on that. Okay, we'll work on that, and we started this process because of you guys. This is just like that it happened. It's not like a well planned activity or something like that. We are going to launch this day, that day, nothing like that. We had plans, but we are having a question mark. What if it didn't go well? So I was thinking like whatever it is, it didn't go well or well, it's still a learning for me, as well as the people who are really interested, they will get whatever they want. Okay, that is the agenda we had, and we wanted not to stop this here. If I stop here, even my learning will get stopped, and our long term goal, we may not be able to achieve. So we need to make a progress on that. We will continue this journey, and I wanted you guys to be join with us. Okay, and with this, we'll come to an end, and that's the thing. And thanks for joining. If you have any queries, please ask now, or else ask. I mean, every Saturday we are planning to come live. This 9 to 10. If needed, we'll come on the Sunday as well. If we want to extend the time limit 9 to 10, we can extend. It's up to you guys. You make use of it. You just tell me when you wanted to come. We will be, if you want, if you tell us in before, we'll come online so that you can comment in the chat or in the WhatsApp group, where there's one more group. So where I can give you the direct number, you can ask any doubts or anything in that WhatsApp group, you can ask, or else you can comment in the YouTube or LinkedIn page. We'll definitely help you out. Okay. Yeah, sorry for a long talk. I'm just stopping with this. If you need the certificate or anything, you just let me know. I will get it ready and then share it over with. Okay. Anything else you guys want to say? No. Okay, Lucky and all. Thanks for participating with us. If any help needed, please reach out to us. We'll drop with this call. Uh, we'll possibly we'll meet in the next Saturday. Okay, Q&A session or something. We'll have it at the same time, 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. We'll have a Q&A. There is no sessions. You guys should ask question. You guys should open your mouth and ask. Okay. Otherwise, we will not talk. Okay. Let's see. Thank you so much, Mahesh and Mahinda, Edwin and Kati, everyone. Thank you. See you guys. Bye. Cheers.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks.